For several years now, the Capital One Venture X has been the darling of the credit card community. It is a premium travel credit card that comes in cheaper than any of its competitors, $395 a year. And for the longest time, it was considered perhaps the best card for lounge access in airports because it gave unlimited lounge access to both the card holder, and you could access it also if you were an authorized user, and you could add authorized users for no fee. It was an absolutely amazing card and was at the top of almost everyone's tier list when it came to the best premium travel card for everyday credit card users. Well, they've made some changes, and I've had to evaluate because our annual fee's coming up. And frankly, I'm quite irritated at Capital One and this card because of some of the changes. So I've had to wrestle with, am I going to keep this card or am I going to cancel this card? And that's what this video is about. And I'm going to reveal my decision and why I've made that choice. I'm Bob. This is the Rewards Master channel. Here we talk about credit cards, points, and miles, how to elevate your life through business and first-class redemptions. If all that sounds good to you, please hit the like and subscribe button, and let's look at it together. The reasons people love the Capital One Venture X card are pretty obvious. It is so easy to get your value back. I mean, the card is $395 a year, and it gives a $300 travel credit. Now, you got to use it through the Capital One portal, but it's really easy to get your value back because you could book a hotel and you could book flights. I mean, there's so many options. So pretty much everybody can get that $300 back with just a very minimal effort. And then it gives a 10,000 point per year bonus on your anniversary. So you get 10,000 Capital One points, and some people would say, well, that's worth at least 1 cent a point. They're worth more than 1 cent a point, at least the way I travel, because I try to save my points for business and first-class redemptions. So to me, those are probably worth 3 or 4 or 5 cents a piece. So, I mean, really, that's way above what you're paying in annual fee in the value between the credit and between those 10,000 anniversary miles you're getting back on this card. So that's why people loved it. The other reason they loved it is Capital One, they have some of the best. In my opinion, the one in DFW is maybe the best domestic lounge there is that's not like a business or first-class lounge for international travel. It is absolutely fantastic. The food options are great. They have a unique thing where you have a grab-and-go food where they have a whole section of sandwiches and all sorts of snacks. You can just take it and load up your backpack and go. Most lounges don't do that. They try to charge you to take things when you go. So that's great. And the card, since its inception, has offered you to be able to bring in a couple of guests, and then at priority pass lounges, you could bring in guests, and then you could have free authorized users, and those users also got access with guests to the Capital One lounge and to priority pass lounges. It was just broken in how good that it was, and that's part of the reason we loved it. Now, before we get into why I'm deciding to make a change or not make a change, I think it's important to note that this card is kind of difficult to get. I mean, Capital One, they pull all 3 credit bureaus. That's just so annoying. And there's some people have reported trying to get around it by, locking up one of their credit bureau reports, and that sometimes works, but usually it doesn't, so it's like it's a game that's difficult to win. And so Capital One also sometimes will not approve people who are deep into the credit card hobby because they don't seem to really like people who don't carry a balance. In other words, pay them interest, which I'm never going to do that. And most of us that are high level in the credit card world, we're not going to do that. We pay them off every single month and never pay interest so that our rewards actually matter. Because if you pay interest, your rewards are just negated completely. So they really want people that are going to pay them interest, it seems like, and they don't really want people to have a lot of other cards because they don't want you just churning through it. I understand their logic in it, but frankly, the fact that we even have this card, I feel kind of lucky because back when my player 2 applied for it, she didn't have quite as many cards, but she still had a few. So, I mean, the fact that we even got it kind of surprised us at the time. And now, as we're deciding what to do, that is going to factor in to the decision. Now, I'm trying to be very honest with my view of the Capital One Venture X. It used to be an S tier card for me. It's not there anymore. I still think it's probably an A tier card, but I do think for a lot of people, it's a really, really good card, but I'm certainly not saying it's the best. And I say that to you because I do have a referral link down below in the description. And if you were to use that referral link, it would support the channel, but also it would be free to you. But don't use it unless you think this card is really right for you. Because here at this channel, I try not to let referrals and affiliate type links, I try not to let those influence the things that I encourage because of the fact that, I want the material, I want the things that I communicate to be pure and to be from what I really think are good for people. So if you want to use that link, that's great. If not, there's a thanks button. If you'd like to support the channel, that's always helpful and appreciated. So the fact that this card is kind of hard to get for people like me is going to indeed factor into my decision. And why, you might ask, why am I even considering canceling such an incredible card? Well, because several months ago, they announced that in 2026, that some of that lounge access, in fact, most of that lounge access is going to end. So no longer will the primary card holder be able to take into a Capital One lounge or into Priority Pass lounges guests. You'd have to pay for them. And I am not doing that. So that is very frustrating. And in addition to that, authorized users, even though they're still free to be an authorized user, do not get lounge access at all unless you pay $125 for each of those authorized users, which we're not going to do because really the only lounges on here I'm interested in, because I have other cards with Priority Pass access, is the Capital One lounges. So if we keep it, my player 2, Nona, she'll be able to use the Capital One lounges, but I won't. I'd have to pay to go in, which I'm probably not going to do. I just walk across to the Centurion Lounge or to the Priority Pass Lounge at DFW or over to the Admirals Club Lounge, which is right next to it. So I won't do that. But it's irritating to me. It's frustrating because that's why I really love this card. So my primary use of this card is no longer a use. And so I had to decide, do I keep it or do I not keep it? So my decision is I'm going to keep it. And let me tell you the reasons. First of all, it's only $395 a year. So that is really cheap, especially when you consider, and that'll be a little later on the list, but when you consider what you get back for that, I mean, for a premier travel card, this is just the cheapest one, and it's pretty good for that price. So $395 just in this space of the top level travel cards, that's dirt cheap. So that's the first reason. The second reason is, even though I'm so frustrated about that I won't be able to get into that Capital One lounge for free anymore, Nona, my player 2, will be able to. And we have family in Dallas. We fly into Dallas-Fort Worth, and we fly in American. So we're often flying even through Dallas-Fort Worth, even when we're not staying in Dallas and it's not our final destination. So, for the price, she's going to get access to the Capital One lounge. She likes the Capital One lounge. So it is a reason to hang on to it. Even though I won't get access, I have other ones I can go to. Or if we're together, we can go together to the Admirals Club or Centurion Lounge or whatever. So I think it's still, even though it's not a major reason, it's still a reason to hang on to it. The third reason is its multipliers. The Capital One, we have other catch-all cards. We prefer City Points because they transfer to American, but Capital One points are pretty valuable, and this card is 2x on everything. Now, it has some other 10x categories in the portal, but we'll never use that except for when we're getting back that $300 credit every year. So we won't use the 10x in the portal, but we might use that 2x, and it's a pretty decent catch-all card. And so 2x cards that have no foreign transaction fees, that's pretty good, especially when we're traveling overseas, and we might shift it to some of our vacation travel for that very purpose. The next reason is it has a really good net annual fee. I mean, when you figure that 10,000 point boost every year on your anniversary. That to me, now to other people, it might only be worth 1 cent per point. But to me, it's worth 3, 4, 5 cents per point. And that right there could be at the top end more than the annual fee. Plus, I get the $300 travel credit, which is pretty easy. So it's not exactly like the card pays me to keep it, but depending on how you look at it, you could see it that way. So it's got a great net annual fee. And probably the number one reason is you never know what they might do to the card in the future. They might jump into the game and try to beat out their competitors, the Chase Sapphire Reserve. They may try to beat the American Express Platinum or the Citi Elite card. And in all of that, they might change it up. They might make it better. They may add things. I just don't know. And if I get rid of this card, I feel fairly confident that we could never get it again. And frankly, that since it doesn't really cost me anything to keep it because of that net fee, it makes sense that even though I kind of want to just cancel it just to say to Capital One, you shouldn't have made those changes because it frustrates me. I understand why they did. And frankly, if I get rid of it and then it becomes better and I really want it, I probably wouldn't be able to get it. And that's just an honest reason why I think I probably should hang on to it. So those are my reasons. That's the logic behind why I'm going to hang on to this card. Do you have this card? I mean, is it one that you want to keep in your wallet? Do the changes that they made to lounge access affect you? If you're a solo traveler, I'm telling you, this card is probably the best card for a solo traveler. It is great because you get great lounge access by yourself. You get the 2x on everything, no foreign transaction fees. I mean, this card is great. But for those of you like us who travel together, is it irritated you? What's your decision going to be? I'd love to know in the comments down below. If you would, consider my channel membership. It's just $2.99 a month. You can cancel anytime. I do special release videos, and I do special redemption videos where I talk about the best business and first-class redemptions overseas to destinations that I allow channel members to choose through regular polls in my channel. So if you would consider that, please hit the like and subscribe button, and I will see you here next time.